Hello everybody, welcome back. The Music Fan is here bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. Now, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different to this week when it comes to the scheduling. Instead of doing two Are You Ins and a Digging Through Discography sandwiched in the middle, I'm going to be doing the two Are You Ins first and then the Digging Through Discography later this weekend, either Sunday or Monday. It's just because my brother and I, our schedules aren't lining up until the weekend, and I want to do the last Digging Through Discography with Hawken with him because we went on to a Hawken concert actually last weekend, and we had some pretty interesting thoughts on the album, some polarizing thoughts. So I'd rather wait and get these two out first. But anyways, there's going to be somewhat of a theme for these two Are You Ins. We're going to be looking at two singer-songwriters this week, though their styles are a little bit different. So the first one is going to be Frank Turner and his newest album, Be More Kind. Who is Frank Turner, you ask? Well, Francis Edward Frank Turner is an English folk singer-songwriter from Stoke, Hampshire. He began his career as a vocalist for the post-hardcore band Million Dead before the band disbanded, and ultimately has been working as a solo artist ever since. When he works on studio albums and when he performs live, he is backed up by this band called the Sleeping Souls, which consists of Ben Lloyd on guitar and mandolin, Terrence Anderson on bass, Matt Nasser on piano and mandolin, and Nigel Powell on drums. Previous albums by Frank Turner includes Sleep is for the Weak in 2007, Love, Iron Song in 2008, Poetry of the Dead in 2009, England Keep My Bones in 2011, Tape Deck Heart in 2013, and Positive Songs for Negative People in 2015. Now personally, I heard of him if you will, at a concert in 2009 with The Offspring and Sum 41 at Saugus Arena. A lot of fun. But there was this opening musician, and I didn't know who he was at the time. It was Frank Turner, and it was very interesting. Like, comparatively to the other bands and their much louder sound, it was just him with an acoustic guitar, and it was this very folky, very punky music with a lot of interesting lyrics and a lot of really good songwriting and lyric writing. I completely forgot about him for 4 years, and then on a whim I took a look at Tape Deck Heart and really enjoyed it. It was in my top 50 of that year, and it was a really fun album. A lot of really good songs, including Fine Sailing Weather, including Recovery. A lot of really good songs, melding that punky, folky feel with that pop feel as well, and a lot of good lyric writing. Unfortunately, that's the only album I've actually listened to him. I was going to listen to his follow-up album, never got around to it, haven't listened to any of his other stuff, but I was really excited to listen to his newest album dropping this year. So, what do I think about it? First off, it's a more, not mainstream album, if you will, but it bridges more of that softer folk rather than the harder, more punky sound that they have done in the past. For example, there are some heavier hitting stuff, like the second song, 1933, that feels a little bit more of this angst that you would get with punk, and there's much more of a backing band with it, with a lot more heavy hitting drums to it, more distorted guitar, and that is one of the highlights when it comes to the more heavier stuff. It has a lot of really good lyrics, especially on the chorus when it's talking about don't go mistaking your house burning down for the dawn. I think that's a really interesting metaphor. There's another one, you can't try to fix the world when all you have is a hammer. A nice little blunt metaphor, and something that shows his interesting style of writing. Another one of these heavier ones is Make America Great Again. It's a tongue-in-cheek song about how to make America great again by getting rid of incompetence, getting rid of racism, being more compassionate. But it's a little bit slower, and the lyrics themselves, even though they are good, the pace of it and the rhythm of it feels like Baby's first lyrics. Like it's do 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 do, and like all that fits there. So it's very stagnated, very monotone when it comes to the actual lyrics themselves. Braveface kind of fits that a little bit more upbeat sound, but it's not as heavy as 1933. But it's a fun song, a nice little change in pace comparatively to a lot of the other ballads on this album. And then I would say, kind of fitting that more folky rock kind of fit is 21st Century Survival Blues. This slower song that is a lot of fun in terms of the lyrics. I really love the pacing and the triplets of the chorus line. And that song talking about trying to survive in the 21st century, knowing that everything's falling to shit, but having this person by their side and basically talking about the world like a fallout shelter. There are some other more upbeat songs and faster paced songs, being Blackout for one, though that one feels a little bit more of a pop rockish sound. I do like the guitar work on there. The verses are very interesting. The chorus itself is very anthemic. Another one of these softer rockish songs is Little Changes. Feels a little bit more like maybe a Jack Johnson song or a Jason Mraz song with a little bit more of a drum beat, so that it is Frank Turner style. But it's a lot of fun. Again, what makes it stand out is Frank Turner's lyrics and his way of delivering the message. I love the song even though it is somewhat simplistic. Everything else kind of fits into this slower, more acoustic, ballady kind of feel. Don't Worry is a little bit more anthemic on that side, but it does kind of fit that more slower, softer sound. It does build in parts, especially on that last chorus, but it's on that slower side. Be More Kind, my favorite song on the album. It's absolutely beautiful when it comes to the arrangement, to the chord progressions. Again, it's another one of these slower songs which gives Frank Turner this time to spread his message of hope and peace. Going Nowhere kind of feels like a Jack Johnson song, honestly, to me. It's not one of the better ones. It is kind of cheesy at times, but not a bad song. It just, the lyrics themselves are cheesy. The music interesting enough, though. There She Is, a cliche love song. It definitely has more of those punkish aspects when it has these more muted guitar chords and like more staccato guitar chords rather than this more flowing guitar work. The back half of the album, though, has some really good acoustic songs. Common Ground being one of them. I love the feel of it. I love the guitar work on there. I love the use of the C chord going to a D chord with that C inflection. The drums are interesting enough. There's some good bass lines. One of my standout songs on the album. And then you have The Lifeboat. So you have this more sinister song at the beginning with this more minor feel, more dissonant feel. And it's talking about how the world is falling apart and that we should all go to the lifeboats. But as things go on, you get this more major song in B flat major rather than in G minor. And it talks about how there are things that are getting better and that people are taking the steps in order to make things better. And it kind of feels a little bit like a Mumford & Sons song to me, but it's beautiful, it's slow, it has a good message, and all in all, another standout song. And then the last song, Get It Right, is another one of these slower songs that has another interesting message. When Frank Turner uses these slower songs, it's usually to have some good and interesting messages. And this one being about how we should all listen and take a second to be like, I don't know, and I might not be right. And that's an important thing in this world right now. This one has those punk influences with the ba da 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 da, and it keeps building, and it keeps adding more parts. This punky, folkish folk song, it just has all of that. And I love this album for a lot of different reasons. It's just such a feel good album, which is weird to say because again, with punk aspects, you would think that it would be more tongue in cheek at points, and it does. With Make America Great Again, you get the tongue in cheek. With 1933, you get the hostility and anger at some points. But a lot of this, even though it's more simplistic, even though it's more folky and pop folky and soft folky rather than the punk aspects, there's a lot of really good stuff on here. And the biggest reason for it is it's taking a lot of the stuff of what has happened over the last 2 years with Trump and everything, and trying to, instead of just bashing everything, trying to take a step back and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we should approach everything. And having hope and having the wherewithal to do things right way. And instead of being as a way of lambasting everyone, it's a way of holding out his hand to the people who need it. Songs like Don't Worry is talking about taking a step every day and knowing that things might look bleak, but if you take that step, you might be able to make things better, and knowing that there are other people there by your side. Little changes. Another idea of big things need to be changed, so we need to make the little changes instead of doing nothing. Be more kind. Literally a song about being more kind to the people around you and being there for everybody. Going Nowhere, even though it's really cheesy at times, it's talking about being there for somebody when everything else is falling apart. And sometimes it's little things, and sometimes what I like, it's like you're looking for something in a way to work or something like that, but your fellow countrymen seem to have gone berserk. And of course it's talking about the presidency and everything like that. But I think it's a little bit of a fun tongue-in-cheek to little things, and then eventually more things are falling apart. Brave Face is talking about having someone there with you when everything is falling apart. When the end of the world does happen, is that this person will make a promise that they will kiss them and that they will hold their hand through everything. Same thing with 21st Century Survival Blues, having that person with them when everything else is falling apart. There She Is, just a love song about finding somebody when everything else is falling apart. And then you get Blackout, which is an interesting one to me. This hypothetical idea where a city or a town loses power, and instead of everyone being by themselves, they come together and form a community rather than, just always being on their phone and always being away from everybody. Common Ground, talking about building a bridge through everything and trying to build that bridge in order to get people to be able to start talking. And the same thing with Get It Right. Taking those baby steps to make sure that everybody can get along. I didn't necessarily try to time it this way, but with midterms just happening on Tuesday, it was cool to be able to take a look at this album again, because it's a musician's perspective, it's not a politician's perspective, and a lot of this stuff is idealistic. It's really hard to take those first steps and try to build that ground when everyone is yelling at each other. Whether you are conservative, whether you are liberal, whether you fall in the middle somewhere, it's sometimes hard because we take these branches, we take these names, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, all these names, and instead of dealing with the problems in the middle, we deal with the people. And I've had a couple of conversations with people being like, I can never talk to a Democrat, or vice versa. I can never talk to a Republican because of what they represent. And, that just keeps a cycle going of Republicans, and they're going to try to do something. And then we get a Democrat, and they're going to try to repeal that stuff. And it just never solves the problem. And there are a lot of big problems in the world with police brutality, with healthcare, with global warming, with LGBT rights, with a lot of different things. And instead of focusing on that, we keep dividing ourselves on these political lines because of one way or another and what they represent. And what this album is doing is being like, okay, let's take a second. Let's know that we need to make the progress on our own and make little changes in order to make everything better. Also, knowing that we don't always know the answers and being able to listen and change your mind. That is a big thing that needs to happen in this country in order for things to get better. And these midterms are a step in the direction where we are actually taking the time to vote to make sure that we're doing what we can for the country that we live in. It's a good step, but the bigger step is to just keep on trying to bridge that dialogue whenever you can. Even if you don't agree with everybody, it's better to have this conversation and understand the other side than it is to push everybody away and just have this hatred and bitterment that will never go away, and then we never get anything done. All in all, a really solid album, one that makes you think, one that makes you feel. If anything, I would say Make America Great Again kind of doesn't hit the mark that it's trying to do. I think it's just because of the slow pace of it and the monotony of the verses and the lyrics and the melody. Going nowhere, kind of cheesy, and there she is. Doesn't really fit that much into this album, though it was on the songbook, the Greatest Hits album by him, so I won't take that away because it wasn't necessarily meant for this album. But all in all, if you like folky, punky aspects of music, if you like good lyrics, if you like a good message, check this out. I would say listen to the whole entire album. So that is my time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video or like this album, give this video a like. Tell me what you like or what you hate about this album. Tell me other albums you want me to review from this year. Things I can do better for the long haul of this channel. Anything like that. Click that middle button to subscribe to my channel if you've not already. That would do wonders for the channel and the growth of it. Share this with your friends if you think that they would enjoy this, and just keep on watching my videos. So either tomorrow or Saturday I will be back with the other singer-songwriter I'll be talking about, and then either Sunday or Monday, potentially Tuesday, I will be back with the final part of the Hawken discography review. But until then, this is the Music Fan signing off.